He's absolutely Jason, he's absolutely gay. He'll absolutely brighten up the darkest rainy day. He's funny and loves movies, he's smart and he's a Jew. He's an actor and an activist and wants to hear from you.
Hey everybody, welcome to Absolute Jason Stuart. Today is I hate saying this because this is what they do all the time in comedy clubs. It's lady comedies, it's women comedians. We have the wonderful Tere, Joyce.
Hello.
Jackie Fabulous.
Hello.
Mary Kennedy.
Hi.
Now, people will see that Tere is doing a live stream program as we're doing it. So if you go to Facebook, my page right now, which it's linked to, you can actually see the show live as it's being live somewhere else. So we're live on top of live. We've been live for the last half hour. Now, I'm doing two things. So Terry and I met, I guess, God, a million years ago. I forgot how, in the comedy clubs. And I don't remember how we met. Do you, by any chance?
Well,
we've always known each other.
Well, you know, I believe that I was an opening act. I was the MC back at the Long Beach Comedy Club.
I love you. The Long Beach Comedy Club.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that
back,
place.
By where the old Pike was.
Right, it's down the street from where the Laugh Factory is.
Yeah.
Oh, man, love that. Yes. And we worked together. And when you got Last Comic Standing, I was so thrilled for you.
Thank you.
And it was a big career changer.
It was. Yeah, it definitely changed my life. You know, it's one of those things where this is my life after this event happened and the course of what that was.
Before.
Yeah.
What was it? I mean, what was the process? Because it was early on in the show.
Well, you know, actually.
When everybody stood in line for like 400 hours.
Well, I was on the first season, the very first season.
Right.
And I actually auditioned in the open call line in Los Angeles. I mean, they had a private audition for 50 people that were selected by their managers and their agents.
This is what happened. It's funny because the first year it happened, nobody called me, and I just went in the line, and the producer was walking in the line with the camera, and he goes, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I want to audition for the show." And they said, no, and they pulled me out of the line, and people were so mad, and I felt so bad, but I felt so happy.
Yeah, no, I was really just a random, I had no thing. I mean, of course, I've been doing stand-up for a really long time. And, I went in, I auditioned, I got past the first cut. And then I just went on. I mean, I did the competition at the Laugh Factory, and then I got passed on to the top 20, and did the competition in Vegas, at the Paris Hotel.
So it was really a whole rigmarole.
And then I went to the top 10 and went into the house. And at the time, it was more of a reality show where we were they were watching us live and everything.
Jay Moore had told us. I remember I was sitting with Jay Moore and Ralphie May at the Comedy Store, and he said this show is going to be sort of like Star Search meets Big Brother.
Yes.
And then they took that element out of it. And I thought when they took that element out of it, they made it more like a regular contest show, and it wasn't as interesting. Have any of you gals, did you audition for Last Comic Standing? Anybody?
I was on season 2014.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yes. And how many did you get on?
I just one really good set, and that was it.
Yeah. I never got past. I did the first set and then the second set in the club, and that was it. And they didn't air the second set, so you just see me going like that. And that happened to me twice. And then the third time, Bill Bellamy actually said to me as I was walking out, "Hey, if you could do this without being gay, they'd probably really like you on the show." And I thought, oh man,
hilarious.
Isn't that sad? I mean, I know that when Ant was like very much in part of the first season, and he didn't make it into the house, and I actually had a glass of wine with one of the writers, and you know what he told me? He told me that he was too gay, and that they weren't ready to show that on television yet. And then later on,
he became such a big
integrated
star from it. And
right?
He
really is one of the biggest stars from it. I really think so. He's one.
And then he came back as a judge.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And what was your experience like on the show?
It was great. The audition was quick. It was, I think the first time was at the Hollywood Improv, I think.
Yeah.
And then the Comedy Club in Universal Studios, I forget his name now. It's closed now. And
John Lovitz.
Yes. Yeah. And then the production, and it was, my experience was I was very, not coddled, but very supported by the EPs, the Wanda Sykes and Paige Hurwitz were like comedy mommies to me.
Because they're both comedians.
Yeah, they made it very wonderful and painless for everyone because if you didn't do well, which fortunately I did do well, but if you didn't, they didn't air it. They only showed the good parts.
Isn't that nice?
It was fantastic. I don't have anything negative. I mean, my negative is I didn't move on to the next round.
But Paige Horowitz,
you know.
for people who don't know, she produces the show, is an hysterical comedian.
Oh, she's fantastic.
And I can't understand why she isn't doing
She
comedy.
would tell me I'm not a comic, and then I did a show somewhere with her best friend was the producer, and she showed up. I'm like, are you going to go up? She goes, eh. I said, I need to see you go up. She went up, and of course I'm like, you're phenomenal. What's this denial thing you're doing?
She's like this psych.
You're a comic.
Yeah, she's a definite comic. And I think she's one of the funniest people I've ever
She's
seen. I
fantastic.
adore her. And certainly Wanda Sykes is an icon in the black community and the gay community and the comedy community.
Yeah, she's got every box checked out.
Yeah. I mean, I also heard, there's a lot of gossip about the show, and I don't know whether you feel about it. Did you audition for the show?
I auditioned. I went straight
Talk
to I went
close.
straight to producers the first.
Oh, so you...
So I went to Jay Moore, but he was behind a curtain. And then when I did one of my Boston jokes, because he's from the East Coast, I heard him laughing behind the curtain. And then he came out and gave me some notes. So it was really incredible. It was
Jay's
really,
a great guy.
He's a great guy. He's a comic, and it was great. Did I move on? No, but I wrote my Boston bits, and that was the first and last time I auditioned.
I auditioned 3 times for it. I never got anywhere, and nobody ever wanted me. But but it was scary and was fun, and I was at Oscar Nunez. No, Oscar from The Office. From The Office.
Oscar.
He was a judge when Bill.
He was a year
Yeah.
once, and so was this blonde chick that was on The Office. Both of them were there, really, really cool. And I auditioned, and then they laughed their heads off, and they said, "No, I'm sorry, we can't move you forward."
Yeah.
And that's when Bill Bellamy told me that. And years later, Oscar and I were in a book about comedy. I forgot what it was. We
Rebel
both-
Comics.
Is it that one?
Yeah, that my player wrote. Yeah.
I think it's so great. I don't even remember what I'm in.
Yeah.
And I remember he said, I want to apologize to you. And I said, why? And I've never said this on the air publicly. And I said, why? He says, they told me they said that they didn't want you. And they said, too many gay comics, we already have the fill on it or something like that or whatever it was at the time, different producers than when you were on the show. And they just made the decision. And he said, I feel so bad. And he said, I'd never do that again. Because they weren't allowing them to pick the people. They were just there sort of as fake judges. Yeah. And Drew Carey, who was on the show, I think around the time, he was a judge on the show.
He was second season.
He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And he told me that they had all gotten together and picked the comics. And all the people that were on the panel were really established comedians, famous. And they said they, again, didn't pick the people they picked.
Well, can I say something about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what it is like when you sign your contract with being on the show, it says that the final decision is at the discretion of the producers.
Oh, it does say that.
It does say that. I don't know.
But the judges
think people
didn't know.
I guess. I mean, people didn't really look at the fine print on it, and so and there is a combination. Like really, what they're doing is they're casting a reality show. I mean, especially at that time, I think.
But the same thing happened on American Idol when they had the 3 black women.
Yeah.
People said the year of, I guess it was Jennifer Hudson, the one with the one name, who's in The Color Purple on Broadway.
Frenchie.
No, not Frenchie. That's the. There were 3 women comics.
Right.
And I'll remember her name in just a second. And she had her own reality show.
Fantasia.
Fantasia, who's just extraordinary singer.
Yeah.
And there was another woman, Kimberly something, I think. And they had them all in a row, and all of a sudden, 2 of them got kicked out, and these women were just like so fabulous. And instead of picking, and I'm not, I have no sour grapes at all, honestly. I think the show is great for comedians, and I would have loved to have been on it. Doesn't happen. It's just the way the cards are dealt in life. And I just think that wouldn't it be neat to just see the best people and just see what the country's picking rather than trying to manipulate things.
But
Speaking of the country thing, sorry.
Oh, please.
Speaking of the country, to the show's credit, they aired my set. One of the jokes from the set they aired, and every show I've done outside of California, and I mean every show, somebody in the audience is like, "I saw you on Last Comic Standing." So it really changed your career. In our mind, we're like, I wasn't on long, but to the people, to the world, who are the countries who have seen it, you aren't long enough. They remember who you are
because it's network television.
It's a credit show, and they're like, "I saw you on there, and you did this joke, and you had on this top," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's a credit that is valid." And for the rest of my life, to my death, I'm going to use that credit everywhere.
Of course.
Where it doesn't matter. The Doctor, a comedy show.
But how
I'm with you on
interesting?
that.
How interesting can a show at this point be with just the best? The way that television is formed, unfortunately.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a purist.
And I agree with you. I'm just saying that there's such a model now that they do want to see They do want to see
One of each.
one of each, and they do, and if you are having the producers make artistic decisions, sometimes we're not going to see what we think we should see, but it creates good television.
But there's so many,
Now
there's so many good comics. That's why I think the show would be, if it kept going.
Yeah, I agree
There's
with you.
so many comics that are very good. And you don't know how good there are out to choose from until you see them perform and compete.
I think they're making decisions based on other things that have nothing to do with comedy, to be really honest with you.
That too.
I mean, they're basically, they're looking at demographics, or they're casting certain types of people that
That's what
represent
scares
certain
me.
things. Yeah, no,
That's
but
what
that's
scares
what's
me.
really going on. I mean, there's other elements that are not just about being how funny you
Yeah,
are.
they gotta
you
cast
know.
it. It's
They
a
gotta-
TV show. They have to cast a show.
They got to cast
Yeah.
a show, and they have to like do certain things.
But I always think if you watch any show on television that is fabulous and wonderful, it's because they have one showrunner. When you get too many
Yes. I agree.
people in the pot stirring it, it all of a sudden becomes very bland and not as interesting. And I think sometimes that we need to just see what real life is.
Yes, it would.
I mean,
be.
I would be interested in that.
Yeah.
You know, rather than seeing something get so manipulated. But that's just me as an audience. And also as a gay person, and maybe as a black woman, you feel this way, that we sort of, there's a different sensibility to what we do as comedians that the white heterosexual audience does not have. You know, and it's not always our audience, so we have to adapt to a situation, whereas a white comedian, where most of the audience is white heterosexual men and their girlfriends or wives or whoever, they don't have to explain as much, you know, in their comedy. What do you guys think about that?
Sorry, I'm always the first to jump in. Go ahead, guys.
No, what I was going to say, well, look at the insurgence of mom comedy, right?
Uh-huh.
You know, Nick Mom, I did something for them, and you know, everybody's a mom comic. It's a mom comic. You're a mom comic. Yeah, I'm a mom comic. It's a piece of what I do, but it's not 100% of what I am. And so I think what you're saying with that, I agree.
But do you have a choice in that? I mean,
Yes,
sometimes. I don't think we do. Because sometimes I'm
Yeah.
just known as a gay comic. You've worked with me. I probably worked with you the most of the three comics
Yeah.
here. And you've seen, we've done we did a couple dives together.
Yeah.
And it's where neither one of us were at all close to anything that had to do with the people that were there in terms
Yeah.
of where they live and what they do and who they are. And we both did really, really well and had a great time. It was a crazy, we did 2 of them together, I think, in
Yeah.
that place. And they see you as just, you're black, I'm gay, that's it. And some people, no matter what you talk about, no matter what you say, no matter how it is, that's who they see you as. And until someone flavors you differently, that's my experience.
I think what's happening with me, I don't change my stand-up for any audience.
You
Yeah.
change your setups, though.
No, I had to change nothing. Like, if you watch a tape, I'll be at the Comedy and Magic Club, which is predominantly white, and then I'll be at a urban spot, and it'll be the same set. What's happening to me in my career now is that I'm more of my fan base is women. And when the shows are over, they're like, "Oh, you spoke my whole life just now. You're so relatable." So the black is
okay.
always there, but they look at me here about talking about being a woman of a certain age, and the color kind of disappears because I'm like, we're all going through the same crap.
So you found the
I found the
equalization.
niche. I found that
Yeah,
after
yeah.
all these years, I'm like, I now know what my fan base should be, where my comedy should gear towards, and keep it honest. And the black thing is just fun. If I want to blacken it up and be more like girlfriend type.
See, I found that too.
But now I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever I discuss, if there's a woman in the audience, I'm going to do well.
Well, and we're about the same age.
Yeah.
And so, and especially, you know, I've been married 13 years. I have 2 kids. You know, you find moms that come up to you who aren't just being moms. They're dealing with menopause, and they're dealing with divorces, and they're dealing with so many things, and guys too. I mean, do you find that when you're at the LGBTQ community performing, are they just wanting you to be gay?
No.
No.
And also, I'm a guy of a certain age, too. So
Yeah.
my act is about getting older. My act is about wanting to fall in love. My act is a lot about that. That's a big deal. And also, I talk about politics. I talk about pop culture. And
Yeah.
my mother's 79, and I basically am her person, like on Grey's Anatomy. You know, like Christina was.
Yeah.
I am her person.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about my mom and things that are happening with her and how I take care of her.
Yeah.
And she's probably the funniest person on the planet.
Yeah.
So, with that said, we're going to take a break. I'm sitting here with 3 of the funniest gals ever on Absolutely Jason Stewart. We'll be back in just a second. Stay with us. Don't change that channel. Oh, my God, there's no more channels.
Great.
Now we'll start talking to you now.
Hey, I'm Dee Dee from Lady Pants, and you're watching the 10 women who are killing it in comedy. Here is number 3. Carrie Brownstein, a feminist musician, a sketch comedian, Fred Armisen's best friend, and a bisexual who doesn't feel the need to define herself by her sexuality. What more could we ask for? She and Steve Buscemi definitely share the award for most fascinating teeth, but I think I could give her a run for her money. But her gentle, character-driven take on life in Portland, Oregon warms the heart and tickles the LOL bone. Carrie, can we be besties? We promise we'll bring something to the table. How about a grass-fed, cruelty-free pigeon milk latte?
Let's do number 4. Hi, I'm Hanny from Lady Pants, and you're watching the top 10 women who are killing it in comedy. Let's do number 4. Tegan and Sarah. Speaking of musicians, Adora talented Canadian twinsies Tegan and Sarah are quietly killing it all over the place. On Snapchat, in the recording studio, and on the awards circuit. They've got a Grammy nom under their belt as well as major commercial success. And while they're not technically comedians, this indie dance duo is friggin' hilarious on social media, and they are worth a follow just for their weird homemade cat videos.
The list doesn't stop here. Watch the next video.
Hey, we're back at Absolutely Jason Stuart with Jackie Fabulous, Tere, Joyce, Mary Kennedy, 3 wonderful comedians. We're talking with Jackie Fabulous. Now, first, the name. That's not your real name.
Why can't it be?
Because it's not.
It's not. No.
No.
No, actually it is.
Fabulous?
My bank account, everything is now that. I'm waiting on me to do the actual court paperwork. To change
You know, my
it.
name isn't the same name either, but
Oh, it isn't?
I changed my name when I was 19, but in those days there was no computer. I never changed it legally.
Oh,
I
okay.
changed it on my passport.
Oh.
7 years, and then you change it in 7 years, and it's your name.
Okay.
And I shouldn't say that, but I have no...
Is that still the law now? Because that
Not,
might be
not anymore, but
Oh,
this is
okay.
like in 1922.
It's been a while
It's when I was a
since I've had
kid,
this
you know.
name.
So you came upon the scene when? 11 years ago.
I took Judy Carter's comedy writing class after work because I was just bored. I didn't have a goal of being a comic. I worked on Hollywood Boulevard for LegalZoom.com. Took her class after work, and it was just take the class, do the showcase at the Hollywood Improv, September 16, 2005. That was my first show. Did well, and just kept doing it after work until 2010, when I had to leave my job at Caltech because they fired me, and and then I decided.
Why'd they fire you?
Because I kept traveling. Of course, when you're busy, you get more busy. And because I had a 9 to 5, the road gigs were just, coming quickly. And my boss was like, I don't think you want to be here. And I'm like, what gave you that impression? and he's like, well, you should probably resign. And I'm like, no, I need unemployment. I will never resign. You want to get rid of me? You got to fire me. So he fired me.
Like a true actor.
That's what you got to do?
Yes, true actor.
So for 5 years, I got unemployment after I got fired. And was doing stand-up, and I got an agent, did commercials, just got thrown into it. And the commercial I went on audition for before I got fired, I booked on the day I got fired. Wow. So I was like, that ain't nothing but Jesus.
Yeah. That's the artist gods, I
yes,
call them.
and then kept doing it after that.
Now, Arsenio Hall just adored you.
Oh, I love him.
Now, how did that come about? Because you did 4 of them?
I did 4. I think
of comedians, you've done the most during his new run.
Yeah, it was just I did the 5-minute set, had a good set.
I was so excited.
And then the
for
EPs and everyone, we want you to come back. So every week or every other week, they're like, we'll come back for a panel, come back for a sketch. And then I went back on the 5th time with my girlfriend, Kim Whitley, who's an actress.
Dork him.
And we did our thing together. And on our ride back, they were like, we want you here every Tuesday. And then the show got canceled.
Oh, damn!
But me and Arsenio after that became friends because mutual respect. I'm in awe of him because he was my idol growing up watching
Well,
TV.
he's an icon in nighttime television. And I one day he'll tell the story, but the show was on for 5 years when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it was one of the funnest shows on television.
Oh,
And I do not know why that show ended, and I would love to know. I mean, I would love to know that because it was one of the best shows on television.
I know.
And it was the only time they had a people of color on shows. There was a party atmosphere that people have stolen and done on other shows,
Yeah.
which Jimmy Fallon now does, and so does the other guy from England. I forgot,
James Corden?
Yeah, he does
Yeah.
it on his. But his show is very similar to Graham Norton's show,
Yeah, okay.
which I
Oh, yeah,
love.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very similar. God, and so let's see. So how many years, Mary, have you been a comedian?
18.
18. And Terry?
At least 20. I hate to say it. I mean, because like when you start going, 20, like, how freaking old is that person? Really? But
Oh,
yeah.
well, that's
I
the
mean,
whole-
I
that-
started taking a class. I'm not gonna lie. I started taking class. I studied with Stanley Myron Handelman.
Oh my
Back
God!
in the day.
I knew him from
And-
the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Very popular comedian in the '70s on television.
He was on what's that guy? Really big show. I mean,
Welcome Back, Kotter?
No, not well. It's
Tonight
Ed Sullivan?
Show?
No, Ed Sullivan.
Oh
that's
my
it.
God.
Yeah. He was on the Ed Sullivan show, and I think this was. I moved out, and I went to acting school at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in 1984, and 3 years later, so in 1987, I started to take the stand-up comedy class, and then about 6 months into it, I had done a showcase at the Improv. And this is kind of fun. When I got off stage, I had dick jokes. Okay, I think I'm the queen of dick jokes. That's my first jokes I ever wrote. And I was, the first set where I was like, oh my God, I'm getting laughs, and you're waiting for, and you're going off. And an elderly woman grabbed my hand, and she goes, I think you're really funny, honey. Why don't you come down and sit next to me? I said, okay. And she goes, I'm Sally Mars. I'm Lenny Bruce's mother.
Oh my God!
Yeah. And she told me she was the first stand-up comedian in like 1942, female, and very sweet lady. And I always remembered something.
I met her several times at the Comedy Store.
Yeah,
Lovely.
She was lovely, and she said something. She goes, "You're a little bit dirty, but so is Lenny. But you have to make that choice." And I often wondered what that choice was. Okay, I don't think it's really about having a salty language. It's really about going against, because Lenny went against the establishment in some ways.
Well, it was a political statement.
Right. Yeah. And so later on, that what she said has had different meaning for me.
What do you guys feel about being dirty as comics?
It depends on the audience, and it depends. I think, I started at New York Comedy Club, being their house MC for 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. on Thursdays.
So there was no choice.
There was no choice. However, and that's how I cultivated my crowd work. But if you're doing a benefit for a high school or you're something and you're getting paid, it's got to be squeaky
The
clean.
more dressed they are, I say in the audience, usually that's what happens. The more dressed up people are,
Yep.
and the more of an event that it is,
Yep.
the less you have to do. I don't love it myself because it seems like it's done so much. I feel like as a comedian that I'm doing somebody, it's never been my thing. I prefer, I always say no one wants to hold your hand after you've been fucked. I mean,
Yeah,
no one
exactly.
does. That's what, and if somebody's really dirty, they're not going to be my opening act, even if I love you to death. And so when you're starting out, it really limits your ability to work. You were never that way, really.
I'm provocative, and
But never, because you opened for me in the day a number of times, and you were always easy and lovely. And
I never say dirty though. I talk about what really happens in life, and if it includes, jizz on someone's bangs, then that's part of it.
see, but that's funny.
It's a part of what happened to me one time. I made it a joke and brought it on stage, but it depends on the venue, the show, the request,
Yep.
the pay.
And if
I'm-
you're headlining or not headlining,
yeah,
who
if I'm
you're-
on the road, I'm carte blanche on the road. I do whatever the hell I want to do because no one's going to tell me no.
Right.
Comedy club is where you can really be free.
Uh-huh.
But if I'm in town doing Hollywood spots, I will cut it down because I know that I'm still on the lookout for industry here. So I'll kind of keep it dirty-ish, but I won't really TV clean. So it really depends on where and what I'm performing for.
If it's a mother's show, the girls really want to hear the dirty, but the bookers, who are usually men, will go, it's got to be squeaky clean. And so what I've found doing the mom shows is that we kind of sort of gauge when we get on the ground, so to speak, and they want to hear it.
It's the same problem with the
Yeah.
colleges. When I first started doing colleges years and years ago, you go to NACA, which is the National Association of Campus Activities. You pay $1 million. Your agent pays $1 million. They pay $1 million to see you. It's such a big money-eating thing, and they all want you to be squeaky clean.
Yeah.
And then you get to the college, and they could care less.
Yep.
Everything is out the window.
Yeah,
Have you had that experience?
With the mom shows, for sure, yeah.
You?
Yeah, the showcase, they want you to be clean, but when I get to the school, they're like, 1 hour of just fill the hour with
Yeah.
whatever the hell you want to do.
Yeah.
They could give a damn.
And you? Have you done?
You know what? I haven't really done colleges. I
You seem
really,
perfect
I
because of your
really
pot-
do you
your
think
pot
because
thing.
at one point, a long time ago, they tried to sell me as that.
We
and,
did a
and
college
they
day
were,
together, I think, together.
Probably. I mean, there was something. I mean, but that was like. I mean, I.
In 1922.
Yeah, 1920.
You were a flapper, and I was dealing, in illegal booze.
Yeah. Probably so. Yeah. No. I was told that they kind of locked it out. You would be surprised at the discrimination against marijuana on many levels, even down.
What
to
do you
the
feel
students.
about that, really? Because I was listening to someone talk on a show recently. God, who was it? About marijuana and about the idea of, because being it was about addiction, of being addicted to anything, whether it be food, sex, drugs, shopping, or marijuana. I think the thing is you have to be able to. It can't be to me, a need. It has to be a want. Can't be a need, and you have to know when and how it affects your life. Because medically, it does help a lot of people with a lot of things.
It does. First of all, in terms of the addiction of the plant itself, it's slightly more addictive than caffeine is. So it doesn't have the same sort of properties that, cocaine and all the other drugs. Even the pharmaceutical drugs are way more damaging.
And nobody has a car
person's
accident smoking pot because they can't get out of the house.
Right? Yeah.
They're looking for the keys. They're in the car. They're in the driveway. They're there going, yeah, I know. I had some keys.
Someone needs to regulate the edibles. Edibles are out of control.
Edibles are out of control. You have to be very careful with edibles.
Edible, you will forget years of your life.
Yeah, and you can. I mean,
You've done it too by accident? Because of the
Yes.
food, because I like cookies.
Yes.
So I
And-
went to Burning Man, and they had no food there yet, and we got there first, and someone
Yeah.
said, oh, here's some pot cookies. And he's off setting it and putting things together.
Yeah.
And I had 3 pot cookies, the whole cookies.
You
I
should-
was
you should
high.
still be unconscious.
I was
should still
high
be
for
asleep.
4 days.
Yes, the edibles.
I went into the U-Haul, right? I went
Yeah.
into the U-Haul. I hit my head on the thing, the door. I passed out. It was the best sleep I ever had. It was like Michael Jackson's sleep. It was that good.
The edibles
And-
are out of control.
Very
Out of
much.
control.
Oh, yeah, because
You don't know what's in it because they really can't tell you. They just buy them. They look pretty. They smell good. I had a Rice Krispie treat. I had the corner of it. And I'm like, this is nothing. And because I'm a big girl, I can take it. Kept eating it and eating it. Next thing you know, I was like, I'm so high. I got dressed and undressed 6 times. Called my girlfriend. Wanted to go for a walk at 1 a.m. knowing I will be on the street looking like a victim. Do not leave the house. And the next morning, I woke up and I was still high. And I'm like, never again with edible without supervision.
And you don't know what
friends.
you're doing, right?
Nothing. You don't know
At Burning Man, they had all their tents in this really nice area, and mine was like over here, like this, in the corner, and my head sticking out every 20
Don't do it
minutes.
alone. The whole point is
I
don't do
actually
it
met the
alone.
love of my life at Burning Man, but I still don't know whether I actually met him or imagined it, because I never saw him again.
Edibles should not be
And I
done
still,
alone.
to this day, I can't.
It was probably cannabis oil, wasn't it,
Well-
that they put in it?
Well, if they use butters and things like that. I had an experience once where I'd done a show called The Dope Show up in Portland, Oregon, and then people were giving edibles to us, and then
You can go shopping for it like shoes.
Yeah, and then a friend of mine made these pot brownies. I think had an eighth of marijuana in all of them, and I took them and I tripped. I talked to God. I saw my
Wow.
I
Yeah.
had
Oh, I dated
I had
God,
a
and then we broke
shamanic
up, and then we got back
experience.
together again.
Dyed my hair red.
And then I wanted my records back.
I dyed my hair red and flushed my friend's cell phone down the toilet and clogged the toilet up. Yeah, I was freaking crazy. Yeah.
But there has to. So what do you think? There has to be a
well,
limit
I mean,
on it.
People
Are you
just
afraid?
need to be educated on what an edible does, and especially since it's becoming
Nobody
more and more
believes
illegal
you
to
though.
people.
If you say it'll
you have
fuck
to-
you up, they're like,
it-
oh come on, I know.
But
Will.
see,
But,
wait-
you don't understand.
Weight Watchers needs to have the point program for edibles. So you only have
And
5
Oprah will do a
points.
commercial. I love edibles. I can't have too much edibles. Everyone, there's an edible under your seat.
I mean, right?
And they're free.
Weight Watchers does need to do something about edibles. That's for sure.
5 points.
Yeah.
You can have a brownie. You can hold it for on Saturday. Yeah.
I had a wheat soda one time. It's called Sprigs. And I was at a
Really?
comedy festival, which should have been called the Cannabis Festival. First festival ever where there was so much weed. And people watched me drink this can. They were like, you shouldn't drink the whole thing. I'm like, well, it's like Sprite. And 18 people were like, do not drink that whole can. I drank this much, put the can away, went back to my hotel room. I was gone the rest of the festival because I was so high. Really? And
Did you miss your set?
They were no, I did my set, but
thank
there were
God.
decision makers there. I didn't want them to see like the one black girl. I was the only black girl at the festival. I'm like, I want them to be like the one black girl that's here was completely topless and high the whole time. Who is that? So I realized
Oh,
now.
shit's a night bazungas. So let me just tell the folks at home before we go to a break. You have your show, American Freedom Radio, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 3 to 5 every day, right? So they can go to AmericanFreedomRadio.com.
It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And you, what shows do you have coming up? Do you have something coming up?
Woo! Oh, damn it.
We'll go to
Yes.
Mary. Mary has a show coming up at the
Ice House
on
tomorrow.
And
if you want to get tickets, it's Love at First Laugh, and you can go to icehousecomedy.com. There's some tickets left.
And there is no better club to go to in the city.
All female comics.
But it's still
Yeah,
a
it's
great,
gonna be
great
great.
club no matter what.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
and you have something coming up, and they go to JackieFabulous.com.
June 15th, I'm at the Ice House. This
Oh.
Saturday, I'm at the Madhouse Comedy Club,
Where is the Madhouse?
San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who does that? That's a great club.
I forget his name.
But it's a fun club.
It's
I've
a fun
heard.
club, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a full schedule, but nothing. I must have got high before I got here. Go to JackieFabulous.com. My schedule's on there.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to be back with 3 absolutely hysterical women who I love more than life itself. And I'm talking now like I'm high. We'll be back in just a minute. Please stay with us.
I start. Hi, I'm Moxie.
And I'm Nicole, and we're the ladies of Suicide Girls Radio, the world's leading BYOB radio show. Pour a glass of your favorite tipple and tune in on Wednesday nights between 8 and 9 p.m. as we discuss life, liberty, and the pursuit of free nipples. Oh, just flash it would be kind of funny, wouldn't it? People think flashing your tits is easy, right? And it's actually kind of hard.
I'm Money B, and you can kiss my ass.
Let me swallow my snot. That's sexy.
Keep up the good work, Mile Net.
Let me see how I'm gonna come and check out.
No, I love you.
Oh yeah, no cyclocyanabin, the little.
Always switching up. Always switching up.
It's my wedding band. Jumped out of my. Oh my God! I hope it's not an omen. Call my wife.
He keeps moving away.
Hi, I'm Rob Schneider, and you're watching T Hollywood V.
Z Hollywood TV.
Not gonna bang. I'm not gonna bang.
Nailed it.
Hey, we're back at Absolutely Jason Stuart with my guests, Jackie Fabulous, Tere Joyce, and the wonderful Mary Kennedy. Now, you're an actress also. You had this wonderful recurring role on ER years ago, and you're in a new movie that's coming out called
Shattered.
Tell me about it.
It is starring Ray Wise and Molly
I
Burnett.
love Ray Wise.
I love him.
I did a film called Posey with him.
Yeah, he's fabulous.
He was just what, and he's one of these guys. Who's that face?
Yeah, who's that face? And he's done everything. And it's an independent, and it's
my career.
It's a wonderful movie. Basically set in the South, where a family that you think has everything, really has not everything, and
What do
there's
you
a
play?
huge secret. I play the mother of one of the drug-addicted teens who's entangled with this family, this rich family, and I'm in the South, and we're in an interracial marriage, which I love. I have a black husband who's gorgeous. Yes, gorgeous. Loved working with him. He was
Do you have
great.
a black husband?
No.
Yeah. Trent D is my husband in the movie, and I got to work with Molly Burnett, and it was 2 days.
Tell me who Molly Burnett is.
Molly Burnett was She's on Days of Our Lives right now.
Oh, okay.
She's a definite soap opera actress, but she's incredible. I mean, it was a 15-day shoot. She shot 15 days of the 15-day shoot. I came in for 2 days, and I had a Southern accent, and
How'd you get the part?
I got the part. It's really kind of funny.
I love hearing these stories.
I met the casting director on a reality series that we both did. She was an actress.
What's the show?
For VH1 called American Ugly. It never got picked up. It was
American Ugly?
It was a
I
pilot.
like the title.
And it was kind of a game showy kind of, they turned people that had no fashion sense into these divas. And so I was sort of a contestant ringer, but they actually hired real actors. And so I did that pilot, and
Nothing's real.
Nothing's real. And then she became a casting director after that.
Who is it?
Cambria Hankin.
Oh, I know Cambria. She's
Fantastic.
a doll.
So she cast me in the CBS promo. She cast me in Creative Differences.
What a lovely gal.
So she's very loyal, and so she sent me.
Well, maybe you're talented and she loves you.
I think so, yeah. And so she texted me, and she goes, "I have a part. It's 2 days. It works in LA. Do you want it?" I said, "Absolutely."
No, I don't. I'm too busy. I'd rather stay home and be depressed.
and it's sort of changed. Sort of my agents thought of me because I played a Southern grandmother. I mean, I'm a young grandmother. My daughter is 16 when she gets pregnant, and it's just.
But it happens all the time.
It happens all the time, and I got to use my Southern accent, and I just loved it. I loved everybody.
Wow. So how many people here are actors? Actress?
Yeah,
Do you see yourself as that actress?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do. You too.
I do.
Because
more
you did
now.
Southland.
I did Southland,
which is one of my all-time favorite shows.
You were in the movie Southland?
No, the TV show.
No, the TV show.
Oh, okay. I thought that one with
Adrian Brody.
The Rock.
And,
Have you
The
seen
Rock.
that? That's a weird film. The Southland Tells.
No, yes.
Have
No,
you seen that?
I love that movie.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cult.
But
movie.
what was it like working on Southland? What did you play?
I was a nosy neighborhood lady, being a snitch to the cops, but a help also.
So you were an information person.
Huh?
That's what I played on.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times. It's the hardest parts to do.
I loved
because
it.
you have to learn lines that have nothing to do with what anybody else is talking about.
No,
and you have
nothing
to
else.
create it. Yeah, that was a cool show because they did it sort of, it was sort of very realistic.
Yeah,
so it was
cool.
like the cameras weren't even there.
Yeah.
And how many people feel? Because for me, acting has become a very big part of my life.
Me too.
It's going to be now. I've been told recently that I depend too much on stand-up because it's what I got good at, and it was my intro into the business. So people are like, well, now you need to, get some acting credits up so when you tour, you become a draw. So the goal over the next couple of months is to not be so obsessed with stand-up and stand-up.
It's hard.
Because every TV show that has had a stand-up do a set I think I've been on, I need to let that go and do more of this and do more of that. And
because the stand-up will still be there.
yeah, you die with that. It's a trade.
But you
die
find that
with.
nobody cares about the stand-up shows in terms of people coming to your show anymore.
Yeah.
There's so much television.
Yeah.
And there is no big stand-up show anymore. I did Gotham Live a couple months ago.
Yeah, I did that.
And that one is sort of nobody really sees it, or do they? Or it used to be on
They
Comedy
do,
Central.
but it's once again for me, it's just a credit that is a credible credit.
Yes.
I did Comics Unleashed last year. They have not aired the episode yet.
Yeah.
So I
did that one too.
It's
yeah.
like a treadmill of just stand-up comedy. I'm like, but I need to get somewhere.
But what do
So
you
I-
find that I find that even if doing the Tonight Show or any of the other talk shows, it doesn't seem to have the same credibility.
Yeah, I'm
anymore.
creating my set now to do the Tonight Show, James Corden, and what's the other one? I forget. There's another one.
Conan.
Yes,
And
Conan. I submitted for Conan, and but once again, I could do all four of them, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's great for you. What now?" So I need something.
But I think
more
that's
what now.
I don't think that's just with talk shows. I think that's with almost everything.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you feel that is the thing that you put by your name when you headline or feature in a show? What is the credit you guys use? What do you use?
Well, I used the O'Mary Show as the podcast because we had a lot of viewers. But
Very popular for how many years? You did
for
5
six years, and it
6
was a
years.
radio show first. I think what I'm using now, because I just started doing sketches for Conan, is I use Conan. I mean,
Conan's a big
and I love that I'm acting in sketches on Conan. I mean, it scares me to do a stand-up comedy set on television. I'll do it, and I did a pilot where they taped me for 3 days doing my stand-up comedy set.
3 days.
3 days, yeah. It was a whole following us on the road and all that stuff. And I had material. It's just I'm in such awe of people who end up doing a comedy set on a Tonight
It's really
Show.
a different beast, and it's
Yes.
also because they don't leave you alone. The first one I did was Merv Griffin.
Yeah.
And the guy said, "You do whatever you want. You're great." And it was the easiest set to do.
Yeah.
And then the more they tell you what to do, I mean, we know our show. There, and sometimes someone will say, "You do this," or But you know that it doesn't work in that order because and it's also in your head, and people are always trying to tell us how to do our show.
You freak out. But when I walked out on Arsenio and saw the audience, it became a comedy club to me, and I forgot about all of the.
Did they help you with your set, or did you plan?
They came to watch, and that was it. And I went to go do it, and they left me alone, and I really forgot about the pressure.
So that's why you right there, because they left you alone, and you were able to do you.
The audience was like same smiling comedy club audience, and I'm like, just do your set. Just forget about all this crap and just do your set. And that's why I was able to relax in the set, you know. And speaking of the acting, there's a new show now, because we mentioned her earlier. Paige Hurwitz is the EP showrunner for a new show on MTV.
Called Acting Out.
Yeah. And I've done, because they've asked me to, 3 sketches, it will be 4. So that's acting, but they had stand-ups on it, do sets.
So you're acting within their
Yeah, I'm
bit.
acting out there, but at first I was kind of like, how come they didn't call me to do the stand-up? They're like, you know what, let it go. Once again, obsessed.
Yeah.
Be happy they called you to come act. And put that in your reel and help get your agent to help you get more work. Forget the stand-up. I can do stand-up.
Because I think your agents, and I love my agents, I think they can get their head around me being an actor more than they can get their head around me being a comic. It's a nice added thing for me to do, and I've booked commercials and even pilots because I'm a stand-up, just because of my improv ability. But they can't wrap their head around it because they don't understand the world. And they're never on the phone.
How many of your acting agents, have come to see your stand-up?
You know what? I don't even have an agent right now.
Or managers.
And if you want to know what I'm saying, when I bill myself, first of all, I'll of course last comic standing, but the second thing would be to be I'm considering myself to be a truther comedian at the moment, and I'm kind of really sort of off the grid. I'm really sort of I'm somewhat tired of the pigeonholing that we have to face, and so right now I'm using stand-up as a medium to express what I think is really truthful going on in the world.
That's you know why.
And this is what I'm doing. It's the internet.
But you know why
right
though
here.
you're doing this? And I know you don't want to talk about age.
Yeah.
But it's because of your age.
Really?
And I'm the same way as you. I'm right now. When I do stand-up, it's just fun, and I do it to make money. And it's fun, and that's all I think about. And I do, I write what's funny to me.
Right.
I don't try to please. So you're in a different place where you're trying to find out what's TV, how are they going to find me. You know what I mean?
To be cast, to be
exactly.
an actor. But when I'm on stage doing stand-up, I write what's funny to me.
Yeah, but
and
I don't.
that
Yeah,
helps.
but you go through like 11 years, and you're like 18. Where you're like, it's like being in a different class of how many years, and you go through these periods of changing sort of spiritually and emotionally and comedically of who you are and what you're trying to do.
But I think that a comic really, if they really want to, they can really say some stuff that can really enlighten people. Yeah. And really, I think that a lot of us have forgotten that. I don't really think of it as being age. I mean, still when I perform in front of a crowd.
But your age is what gives you your age.
Oh,
is what
your grit of what you want to talk
about.
about.
Who you are as a person.
Right.
So different, at 20, 30, 40, 50.
Exactly.
So different. I mean, I know that you were talking about how you're perceived and everything. So I play a white, heterosexual, Christian plantation or 1831. I'm in the film The Birth of a Nation, which is one of the most anticipated films of this year. And my career hopefully will change in a different way. I couldn't even get that audition in Los Angeles. And I remember the first day on the set, the dialogue coach said, "Let me hear your accent." I said, "Well, it's hard times and small farmers like you and myself. Breaking even's hard enough and getting ahead's impossible." Now, he said, "Well, where'd you get that accent?" I said, "Well, I guess maybe when I was a kid, I watched Roots." I mean, I don't know. I toured in the South in the beginning of my career a lot. I don't know. It was just a part of who I was.
Me too.
And I'm not just a funny gay guy. I'm not just an annoying Jewish comedian. I'm not just the manager of which I played in so many things. I'm an artist. And that's the way I see myself now. I'm working on this film and working with these incredible people. And I had done other films where I had really 10, 12 scenes. I've done around 10 films where I've had major supporting roles. But not until doing this did I feel like I was asked to sit at the really big table. But the only way you get at the big table is what you were saying, Jackie, is that you have to be out there on the road doing it.
Yeah.
So as an actor, it's the same thing. You have to be. I've been studying since I was 14.
Yeah, and I've been studying since, professionally since I was 16, and I was back in Boston, and my mom was a musician, and so
Mine was just annoying.
Yeah, well, there you go. but I was in a quote unquote showbiz family in the sense that I was always on the road with her. So
So you got it through osmosis.
Oh, yeah.
And you have show business people in your family?
No,
Me
they hate,
either.
they hate all this.
Oh, mine too. My mother, after a while, I remember once I was, Entertainment Tonight was doing a story on me because I was an openly gay comic. And I said, Ma, did you see the story? And she goes, oh, I'm so sorry. We were at dinner. You know, I'm like, I tried to get back. I just forgot.
My mom complained at Last Comic Standing when I was going to be on, it was going to be too late. She goes, I hope I can stay up. I'm like, are you serious? You have to watch it. And she didn't see it.
But see, my dad was like that. My dad was an insurance broker. He'd never got it.
My grandmother said the first show I did with Live at Times with Eddie Roberts, it was a sitcom, and they watched it. They said, what happened? They watch you the next week? Same show, same channel. You can't keep a job?
Yeah, mine's like, why you keep jumping around show to show? Do one show. I'm like, oh, you know.
Yeah, great
that's a good
idea. Do some commercials.
And my last comic was on my birthday, and they still missed it because they don't care.
Oh, wow.
I mean, they love me, but
They don't care about show
even
business.
though I'm from the Bronx and it's New York, it's not a small town.
I'm from the Bronx, too.
You are?
I was born there, yeah.
See, it's all a small town, though, when it's not in the world that they think is the world.
Oh, well, New York people are the worst.
Yeah.
In
So
that
they're
way.
like,
Everything
what are you
revolves
doing?
around them.
Yeah.
Love New York. I'm a New Yorker.
Yes,
but
me
it's-
too. They
yeah,
don't get it. They're like,
it's
my friends are like, are you done with this California thing now? I'm like, no, I live there. My mail gets sent to my house. I'm not coming back unless, God forbid, I have to. But hopefully, I don't have to. The goal is to earn enough so I never have to come back.
Oh, God. Well, this has been so great. I've so enjoyed having you guys on the show. Please consider yourselves friends of the show and everything. And I hope we all get to work together again somehow. It would be so lovely, acting or stand-up or sketch or comedy or radio. Tell me where people can find you.
You can find me at
Tere Joyce?
You can find me at www.americanfreedomradio.com. I also have a blog site at freedomofjoyce.net. I'm also Tere Joyce on Facebook, Tere Joyce. So I still have friend requests.
Tere, yeah.
And please like my Freedom of Joyce show at Freedom of Joyce. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
Jackie Fabulous, where can we find you?
JackieFabulous.com.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. And Mary? Mary E. Kennedy, right?
Mary E.
Because I
Kennedy.
was looking up and I had a real hard time.
I know there's lots of us. Breakfast of Champions, Mary Kennedy.
Oh
is
yeah,
different than Mary
Kennedy,
E.
1914
Kennedy.
Mary
I know.
Kennedy, who did the, you know, because it's
or the deceased Mary Kennedy,
A lot of your
Robert Kennedy Jr.'s ex-wife who killed herself, which everybody thought I was dead. I got voicemail messages saying, "Are you dead?" Anyway.
How do you?
But I'm cousins with them.
And then you call back and say, "Yeah, no, I'm dead. I can't talk."
So, and that brings me into, you can always find me on Twitter at What a Kennedy Thinks.
So what's your website? You have a website?
Yeah, ohmaryshow.com, ohmaryshow.com.
Oh, Mary.
Oh, Mary.
All right. Well, thank you all for being on the show.
Thank you for having
really,
me. It
really,
was
just a
fun.
joy, just a joy. Thank you, everybody. Until next week, take care.
Toodles. Yummers.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
no. My.